So now you are wounded and you're kicked while you are down. There is a lot of people that have a healing journey and they share their healing journeys, and these people become speakers. They have large platforms where they reach a lot of broken people. And when I look at that, it just makes me sad because we're actually looking at a prior generation that has broken a big majority or a large portion of the next generation. And all of our brokenness is not our fault. A lot of that comes from being raised improperly. And I cannot tell you the countless stories that I've heard, the people that I've talked to, and YouTube videos of people that have been broken in their childhood and how that affects them throughout their life. Because now on the record of their personality, there are these bumps that get hit and activated and just throw their output into chaos. And that's not their fault. But when we get to a point in life where we know what's going on, it is our responsibility to fix those errors in our character programming as we were growing up. And I've said this before, we have to give the prior generation grace, because I certainly hope they were just ignorant to what they were doing and they didn't know that they were going to damage so many people. But when we find ourselves on a healing journey, we have to look at where we are and realize that we can't stay connected to the past. We can't keep blaming them, even though it might have been somebody from the past that initiated. Now it is our responsibility to heal ourselves and to teach the next generation better. Because we have to remember that the next generation that we are raising, we are programming their character. And we don't want to program in bumps that will send them into disarray as they get older in life. And that leads me into the next point, that it's very important on your healing journey to cut people out strategically in your life. There are many times when we get hurt by somebody intentionally. And a lot of times this can be family or a close friend, somebody you never expected, but they do something that causes you great trauma and heartache. And then they just conduct themselves as normal. And then they will tactfully twist it around and make it all look like your fault. So not only are you hurt, you're harmed or traumatized, but now you're guilted. So now you are wounded and you're kicked while you are down. And many times what can happen is once you get back up on your feet, the aggressor never admits what's happened, and then you start to feel a safety and a comfort again. But the sad thing about these people that operate in our lives as a evil input, they know exactly the words to say and the seasons that you will go through where they can step in strategically and say and do the tiniest things that will trigger that trauma. And they can replay the whole event again, as in the after effects. They don't have to do the initial event of what they did. All they have to do is strategically remind you. And they will wait years and years, and they will carefully plan a couple of words to say at the right time at your lowest point to just crush you even more. What this is doing, and they don't know any better, is the fact that they are activating a marker in your character that triggers just chaos. And it throws you off your path or your gate or your internal drumbeat. Because, like crabs in a bucket, people do not want, not everybody, but there are a lot of people in the world who don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to see you become a success and see how amazing you are. So they will stay in your life on purpose to purposefully trip you up by reminding you very subtly of the ways they hurt you so deeply, while acting ignorant to it on the outside. And they will position themselves where they are just this holy, amazing person that is trying to help you, but in reality, they are purposely trying to hurt you. What this does for them, though, they're putting all of their shame, blame, and guilt and terrible feelings off on you. And then they go get to present their just righteous face to all these other people. That's why it's so important to learn the power of cutting people out of your life. It's not easy. It hurts, but it separates us and gives us space to program in our character to pass through those seasons. And the further we go without those people stepping in our lives to trigger you or to remind you of things they've done subtly, of how they hurt you and wounded you and they got away with it and you're still wounded in there. But the longer you go, the more you heal and the more you program your character to be non-reactive to that person. Because a face can trigger us, sound can trigger us, weather can trigger us, songs, a feeling, so many things. And if they are combined properly, that can throw us into chaos. And people that are triggering to a person need to be cut out. Once you cut them out, it is hard to not go back to them because it is basically a pre-programmed program in the brain of maybe they were nice in some areas, or maybe some areas that they would give you some comfort, but you have to realize that they were only doing that to set you back up for failure, because somebody that deeply wounds you and will not admit it, they are not there for your success. So as you have the time pass, when you first cut them out, it's difficult not to maybe text them or call them or say something or try to get back at them, because that's a program in the brain. You get triggered by something and the brain says, oh, we're going to do this now. The longer you go without doing that, the more you're programming your character to be immune from those triggers and from that input. So at times, like this could be a complete family system that has to be cut out of a person's life, because a family will pick a scapegoat and they will choose that one person to traumatize their entire life. And the reason why it's so difficult, because it is a connection from a mother and a son, or a mother and a daughter, or a father and a daughter, or a father, and a son. Or it could be both, a mother and a father on a son. And they strategically have wounded this child, and then they've taught everybody else in the family, if you don't treat them this way, we're going to reject you, basically. And that trauma child has the secrets of the family, so the family will strategically say things or pull away or just hurt them over the years. Every time they see them start to get on their feet and they do well, they will plan intricate plans. So when you cut out an entire family, you're basically jumping off into the unknown. It's totally uncomfortable, because that's the comfort that you were raised in. And I don't mean comfort as in warm and cozy. I mean comfort as in what you have become accustomed to, like a frog in boiling water. When you're a child raised in an environment like that, you don't even know that it's not normal and not natural. But when you take a huge step back and you look at the big picture of there are a lot of broken people on a healing journey, there had to have been something unnatural about the way all these people were raised. And then cutting them out. I would say that's in the early phases of it, or later on when you get stronger. But once you cut them out, you will learn the power you start to gain back of consistency and dependability. Because on that record of the character, you will start losing those bumps and those traumas that get triggered and that just throw you off your path. So, not to beat a dead horse, but if you are on your healing journey, and I don't mean that like in any silly way. It's just the truth of the matter. And even if you're a soldier or a veteran that's been through combat, like you're going to have a healing journey also. But the first thing is you have to step onto that journey. And there can be soldiers and comrades that we had that do not want to see us do well. And we have to cut them out as well. They can be family that actually are not looking out for your well-being. They're there just to see you fail, and they will make fun of that. So they can be cut out as well, and it's not easy. But cutting family out, cutting people out that are not healthy for you is an extremely healthy thing to do. And it's not easy, but it's just part of the journey. And what you will find is as you cut those people away, you will start to find and engage with people that, lo and behold, they are not out to see your demise. They are not out to make you trip and fall and hurt you, because there are still good people in this world. And it's like, sometimes it's like a cold shock to the face. You're like, wait a second, somebody that's actually truly nice and caring, when you come from an environment of not being that way. But you have to be open up to accept that. And the only way to do that is to distance yourself from those people that are always making you feel protected and watching out for being stabbed in the back. So I'm going to summarize. Cut people out that need to be cut out on your healing journey. And I want to encourage you that you do have the strength to cut them out. You really do. They will not like it, but it's for your own well-being. Take care. This is a sarcastic ending.